Hello, beautiful souls. I decided I wanted to sit, grounding myself better. Sit down, baby. Baby. Good girl. Baby. Hello, hi. Say hello, baby. Say hello. Say hello to the camera. Oops. Again, the train. I hear the train in the background. You're coming across me? You're right on time. We'll see how that whisper sounds when I start editing. I usually don't edit anymore, really. I just kind of let it. I've noticed that I've been just pressing record even if I'm not ready, camera ready. Easier for me to like just get into the flow with things. Whew. This fire horse energy, this shedding of the skin, this death and rebirth energy. It's intense. It's intense because in a weird way you're dying. Your old version of you is dying. This is a collective energy. And because this old you is dying, all the dark parts, all the parts that you felt shame with or whatever, it's all coming to the surface for like a last hoorah because darkness really can't hold on anymore. If you're coming across me, you're an awakened soul. You are. And I want you to relax and be relieved that whatever's happening in your physical reality is happening for a reason because it doesn't serve you, at least not right now, whether that's people, places, things. You're starting to vibrate in a more higher frequency, and anything that's denser, it just cannot be in your reality. And that could be family, a job, relationships, doesn't matter. It's dismantling. And a lot of the times when it dismantles, there's a lot of truth that's coming to the surface. Some are illusions of truth. I realized when a person, not you, but other people that aren't as healed as you are just yet, they're on their own level, their own journey. But I realize when people don't know their truest self, when they don't know themselves, mind, body, soul, their this inner knowing, this awareness of self knowing, and if it's not balanced or anything of that sort, it's easily ugh, I can't even talk. It's easily for those kind of humans to be taken over with a manipulative program, whether they're around people who are narcissistic, manipulating, and they're putting things in their head that are false, that kind of look true in the physical reality, but they're completely false. And they're being manipulated because it's just that that's the way the program is. They need to heal. And so I realize when right now with this transition, me and my own personal life, I'm going through an energetic transition, also too in the physical reality too, but it's more energetic, especially since like November, like this energy, very much with the wounded feminine, the wounded mother wound. And since November, the kind of women I used to attract a long time ago, for real. The kind of women I used to attract were very dark, evil, I would say. But I know there's good in all, unless they're made to be something very dark in this incarnation. But I attracted women that were very, very, very dark. My mother was one of them. My oldest sister was another. Very narcissistic, manipulative kind of behavior. And I get it. They were wounded too. You know, they have a wounded energy, feminine and masculine energy. There's a lot of humans that are on this planet that incarnate into a crazy, chaotic, traumatic childhood. And it's not by accident, it's on purpose because your oversoul, your higher self that knows it all, signed up for it because you're that badass. You're fucking amazingly badass. But Usually with two kinds of humans. There's humans that get triggered like me that gone through trauma, but it triggered me to start diving into myself and healing myself because I wanted to really be happy, like inside out happy, peace, inner peace happy. And so it awoke in me these traumatic experiences because I was meant to awaken. But like people like my mother and my sister, they stay dormant, meaning they got darker through whatever experiences they experienced from their life. And everything's in the DNA lineage too. That's another video itself, but we carry a lot of shit over in our lineage. And it's just crazy because lost my train of thought. I saw police officer. I'm safe. You're safe. You're safe. You're safe. Also, too, me, I'm safe to talk about this. Be personal because for the longest time, I didn't know how to share my story or parts of my story because parts of my story that I'm going to be starting to share is going to be a teaching moment too because I'm going to teach you how to get out of that. And if you're coming from a background, sexual abuse, it doesn't matter. Regular abuse, oh my God. Right? We were programmed to think that abuse is normal because the mind when it sees something so many times or experience something over and over and over again, we start believing the subconscious mind, the ego starts believing it's normal. For me, for the longest time, I didn't know that I was being manipulated, abused. That's physically, that was sexually, that was spiritually, psychologically, emotionally, all levels of abuse. Because of my trauma of my mom and my sister, especially, I attracted someone who became like the father of my two oldest children, but he married exactly my mother and my sister, except in a male body. And whew, you have no idea. He was another big catalyst for my transformation that I dove into myself because these kind of people didn't know how to love me in the right, genuine way, like real love. And because they didn't know how, it's because they're wounded too. A lot of wounded, beautiful humans that are out here, especially if they're in their darkness and they've been dark, they don't know how to love themselves. They don't know how to forgive themselves, to let go, but at the same time, they don't even know how to take accountability for what they done. Sometimes they think it's normal to be a certain way, to be manipulating, to be narcissistic. Sometimes people grow up to be that way, to think that way. They're dormant. They're in a program. They're stuck in a program. They're asleep. And some humans aren't ever going to change. The best thing you could do is let go with love. I forgive you, not for them, for you. It is better to learn to forgive, and sometimes that's a long process. It can be a long process. Believe me, I've gone through anger and where I want to get revenge. But you can't. You just can't because energy flows where attention goes, and the energy you give out is the energy that always comes back to you. It does because you're co creating with this universe. You are beautiful souls, and if you're still here, you're here to break generational curses. You're here to clear your DNA lineage, all the trauma. You're carrying all the trauma. No matter that maybe you've experienced so much trauma in this incarnation, a lot of it's connected to other timelines where you've experienced probably worse trauma and you're clearing it. You're here to awaken, to clear the trauma, to balance your nervous system because it's about your nervous system too. I was in survival mode, a scarcity survival mode for the longest time, but because of my trauma. And it's not because I was poor when I grew up, and some people learn it because your parents didn't have enough. My parents had enough. I went to private school and everything. They worked very hard. But I didn't receive the genuine love that a child deserves as they grow up and support and feeling secured and safe. So my survival mechanisms turned on then, and then the experiences followed after that. But I guess I'll make maybe a part two. I gotta go home because it's like